Hi, my love. Welcome back to the Arouse Podcast for another episode. And if you're new around here, welcome. I am your host, Sam. Today's episode is all about, is your partner a compulsive liar? Let's get into it. Warning, the following presentation is intended for mature audiences. It includes stigma topics like sex, addictions, mental illness, adult dialogue, and strong language. Viewer discretion is advised. Ideally, a relationship is built on trust, respect, and honesty. Those are the main ingredients to a relationship. And don't get me wrong, I talk about a lot of other ingredients that go in together to make a loving and fulfilling relationship. Keeping important things to yourself and not sharing it with your partner might eventually ruin your relationship. There is such a thing as being a compulsive liar. If you're in a relationship and you love your partner too much to let them go, then you might want to take a look at some of these signs and reasons behind what a compulsive liar looks like and what that behavior looks like as well. And this really stems from having low self-confidence about oneself. Before I get into the several reasons why one would compulsively or deliberately lie, I'm going to tell you a story about one of my ex-partners. This one person that I dated, they couldn't help themselves from piling lie upon lie, and me thinking that I can trust what they say and believe what they say to me. Other people recognized that what they were saying either didn't make sense or things just weren't adding up. This was an instance where love was blind. I ignored a lot of these signs. That's a big reason why I'm making today's episode, is to help you avoid compulsive liars in your life. Avoid wasting your time, getting heartbroken, getting tied into this web of lies that really isn't going to get you anywhere and really just leave you miserable and tired at the end of all the lies that they've told. One major thing that he did lie about was what his status was, in the sense of his job, building his own putting himself on this pedestal that he really actually didn't belong on. And he lied about a lot of things when behind the scenes, a lot of things weren't getting done, or he wasn't doing the things that he says he was doing. Also claiming ownership and ultimately copyright of other people's ideas and work, which is 100% wrong. There's a lot of different red flags when it comes to compulsive liars. I do believe he had really low self-esteem about himself, and he was amplifying that to look bigger to other people and look more important. So it made him feel better about himself and stroke his ego. And so I do believe that him having this low self-esteem led to him compulsively lying about everything in his life. He didn't have a good childhood. His parents weren't together. He had a very fragile, I'm going to call it, relationship with his mom, even though he didn't really have a relationship with her. And he was fairly abusive to her via, text messaging. And he had no relationship with his biological father. So he had a lot of issues just coming from his family, his lack of education. I would see the way that he would light up when people would believe that he was this big shot and he was doing all this important work. And people with this complex never think that they are or will they ever be as good as other people around them. Instead of breaking the chain and finding ways to stop this habit of compulsively lying, he kept on lying to keep me and other people interested in him, whether it was in business relationships or, trying to pick up other women. It did work for a little bit, but other people did catch on eventually and dissolved all those relationships with him. In the end, people that are compulsive liars will never really have stable relationships because the truth about them will eventually come out. What if your partner is a compulsive liar? If you're with someone who is, there's a fairly good chance that you'll get hurt in the process, as I was. Once you figure out that there's this web of lies that they've told you, do you think you'll find it in your heart to forgive them? once I slowly was figuring out that his shit wasn't adding up and he was lying to not only me, but to other people, I slowly put together everything with the help of a couple friends. I did end up leaving him. It was the most difficult relationship I had to leave because we had moved in together, which was a big mistake. And this is another episode that I'm going to talk about, moving in too soon. Like, what does that look like? How far should you push off moving in with someone? And on the topic of breakups, I have a breakup series that's coming out next week. Starting July 9th to July 15th, I have my breakup series coming out, which will be consisting of 7 episodes touching on different topics on breakups, process of breakups, the aftermath years later, reconciling with exes and what that can look like, and also betrayals, which I'm going to share from my own personal life, which I have never shared before. And the reason that I'm going to share about all my breakups is to share the mistakes that I've made so that you can avoid these in your breakup and you can heal from your breakup much faster and in a much healthier way than I did with any of mine. So this is going to be a huge resource that comes out next week. Series is going to start coming out 1 episode a day for 7 days straight. And this is going to be an incredible resource to help you through a breakup at any point in your life. Back to the compulsive liars conversation. They can't help but even lie to their loved ones. If you have your partner with this condition and they don't want to seek help, then you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. As hard and as heart-wrenching as it can be to let go of someone that you love in a situation like this, you really have no choice but to let go and leave. Otherwise, you're just going to get into more heartbreak and misery if you stay with. Sign number 1 of a compulsive liar is they're afraid to face the truth. So they feel that it's very natural to lie and they're afraid to face up to facts, especially if it goes against this character and this ego that they've created for themselves. So they're always in denial of things that they've done wrong or things that are actually true to their character that they don't want other people to know. They really want everyone to believe these lies that they've made up. And so much so that these lies eventually become this kind of truth for them because they do believe it to be true. And it doesn't really become a lie for them anymore because they've told it so many times or they've held on to this for so long that they don't believe the actual truth, and this lie becomes this truth for them. And they want it to be the truth. These compulsive liars develop this habit at a very early age, and it's carried on to their adulthood. So unless they want help, they're not going to change. Sign number 2 for compulsive liars. My lies are better than your truth. They normally experience jealousy and fear towards other people. I've seen this in a situation where my ex-partner was using my phone and he had found past conversations with a friend of mine. And they were kind of flirty, but that was way before I had met the guy that I was currently dating. And my friend, he was now in a relationship. This was way long ago. And he got very jealous. He actually threatened to spray my friend's feet with nitrous oxide, smash them with a hammer. In this hypothetical situation, he threatened to freeze his feet with nitrous oxide and smash them with a hammer. Like psychotic shit. And he was very jealous that, I was having these conversations, but they had happened so long ago, even before him and I had met. And they also feel that since they're so used to lying, it comes so easily to them that they can see through the deceit of other people. They try to have this authority about them so that other people will never see through their lies. Sign number 3, they lie for their own purposes. And this statement actually a lie by itself because compulsive liars can lie for any reason at all, even if they wouldn't gain anything from it, just so that the habit of lying has become so deeply ingrained in them that they can't even escape from it. And even when they don't gain anything from lying, they still can't help themselves from lying. Really, what's the cure to compulsive liars? It really depends on themselves. With anything, whether someone has an addiction or they need to heal from trauma that happened in their life, it all depends on them and their willingness to get help and to heal themselves. And I encourage you to ask yourself, if you're in a relationship with someone who's a compulsive liar, are they worth saving? For me, it wasn't worth saving him. After the things that he had done and the things that he had threatened, he wasn't worth saving, and I knew he wasn't going to change. He had been doing this for years, and in my experience, I didn't want to save him. I just wanted to get the fuck out of there and be by myself. They need to want to change, not want to lie anymore. They can get help with professionals as well as the support from their friends and family, and potentially you if you think they're worth saving and if they're ready to get help. But it does come down to them and their choice. If they don't want to fix themselves, if they don't think they need to fix themselves and stop lying compulsively, you will never save them. And you do need to make that choice on if you're going to stay in that relationship and continue to suffer from heartbreak and other things that are going to occur due to their compulsive lying, or to get out. For me, there was no life if I was going to stay in that relationship. I was in a relationship with a very scary person who, it is your choice whether you want to stay in a relationship. If your partner is a compulsive liar and they don't want to get help, they don't want to change, and you stay, that's your choice. But also realize that's not the only choice. You can leave. You don't have to stay there. You're not here to save them. Someone can only save themselves. You can only save yourself. I can only save myself. You cannot save other people, and you were not put on this planet to save other people. You can help other people if they come to you for help, but you are not placed on this planet, on this earth, in this universe to fix other people. The only person you need to fix is yourself. If you're struggling with a breakup right now, have no worries, my love, because the breakup series is coming out next week, starting July 9th to July 15th. I'm sharing all the tea, all the mistakes I have made, every breakup, every relationship, so that you don't have to make them. I wasted years of trial and error in how to heal from breakups, and boy, do I have the cure. So come on over to the Arouse podcast between July 9th and July 15th for all 7 episodes, and I will see you there.